What's up, guys? So this is going to be part 8 and hopefully the final part of my 94 wagon 5-speed conversion. So if you watched last episode, you saw that we got pretty much all of the brakes and hubs and everything set up. We got 3 out of 4 of the brake calipers bled, and when we got to this 4th one back here, the StopTech braided brake line I got, brand new from StopTech, it's defective, so it's completely seized, so like I can't even blow through it with my mouth. So I am already in contact with StopTech and they are going to warranty it, so I just got to send it back to them and they'll send me a new one. But in the meantime, I'm gonna just throw the caliper on with the stock brake line on one side, just so I can finish bleeding the brakes and actually maybe, test drive it. Hopefully by the end of this episode, I'd like to go for a test drive. So things that need to be done is the exhaust needs to go on. Once I get the downpipe on and the rest of the exhaust, I can put the intercooler on, and after that we can basically start it and make sure everything's working good. My battery is dead, so I got to figure out a way to get that thing charged. I need to get a trickle charger or something, or maybe swap out a battery from another car. Alright, so I'm going to disconnect the broken StopTech brake line from right here. It's a little tight, so I need to get my 10 mil. We go wrong way first, every time. Whoops. So just took that off. I'm going to run my stock one back through the loop right here and into the top and thread that piece in before I lose too much fluid. See it a little bit better now. Okay, so this one's all in there, nice and tight, and I'm going to put the little locking pin in this part right here. Okay, I forget which one. Put the brake caliper on. Try to line up these holes in the back. Okay, so these are all on now. I should be able to bleed it, get the rest of the air out of this side. I'm going to go around the whole thing one more time just to make sure there's no more air in it, and then work on the exhaust. So in the meantime, I'm going to send this back to StopTech and see if I can get a new one ASAP. Okay, so I just got the gear oil in, the transmission and the diff. It took exactly 4.5 for the transmission, and the diff took like 3/4 of a quart, so it turned out I had basically the perfect amount. Since we got this the stock brake line back on here, we bled that. So this is all the old fluid here, and pedal feels really good. No more air is coming out of it, so I'm gonna have to change that brake line again. So I'm just gonna re-bleed it all once I get the new one in the mail. So today I got my new tires in finally. I wanted to have all 4 tires be the same brand, so I decided just to get all brand new tires. I don't have to worry about shaving them down or anything like that. But I don't really have a lot of money at this point, so I got these Ironman iMove Gen 2s in a 225/45 ZR17. So they're supposed to be kind of like a performance, like cheap ass, like all season tire. They are Chinese, but I've heard pretty good things about them. I got them for like $51 each with my brother's discount through Subaru, and he was able to mount them and balance them for free. So I'm pretty happy with them. I mean, for what for the price, I mean, you can't really beat that. And I still have the Federal 595s, so eventually I'll get another 2 of those, and I'll have a set of those. But these will be really nice for now. It should be good in the wet. That's really what this car is for, is driving in the rain. So I also had to go to Napa today, and I got a bunch of these lug nuts, because since I have these ridiculous studs, I need to have open face lug nuts so I can actually fit them on, and I don't actually have a deep 19mm socket anymore. I don't know where it went, so I gotta buy one of those so I can actually torque the lug nuts down. So we're just working on the downpipe right now, trying to get this exhaust on so we can put the intercooler on and then we can try to start it. Alright, so we got the intercooler on and everything. Got the Camaro hooked up to it, so we're going to see if we can try to start it. So, let's see here. Well, it's alive. Alright, so I need to... Now we need to check the coolant, check the oil, and start it up again. Just topping this off here. Took like another half quart of oil. Okay. So we got the oil and coolant topped off, so... Yeah, it's been off for quite a while. But it rolls?
Yeah.
My boost gauge works. Yeah, it changes colors. Sounds good. No muffler. I don't see any leaks. It's a good sign. It's alive. Okay, so it's kind of warming up now. We're just kind of letting it run. Something that's super weird is whenever we put it in any gear, the reverse lights turn on, not just reverse. So I'm thinking the wiring diagram I got is wrong.
That's first.
Yeah, so that's first. Neutral, first, second, yeah, like,
third, fourth.
What the fuck? So, the wiring diagram I got must have been wrong. I can't think of anything else. So I'm guessing I gotta wire the two switches in the car to the other two, or the two wires from the chassis harness to the other two wires on the switch, and that'll make it work. But you want to go push the clutch in and see if the wheels turn? Yeah, it works. The clutch makes a little weird noise when it's slipping, but that's probably because of the flywheel that was resurfaced.
My clutch does that too.
Yeah, so I mean, it's whatever. It's a stage 2 clutch. It's probably normal. So tomorrow's Saturday, so I mean, we can't really do any more filming tonight or take it for a drive because it's pitch black out. So we're gonna take it for a drive tomorrow and see how the first shakedown goes. Alright, so it's the next day. I just pulled this wheel back off because the stock brake line that I put on here it's a little too short from the strut to the caliper, and it was leaking. So I had to unbolt it from here, take this off and put it back on so it wouldn't leak. And then I had to bleed it again. So far it's not leaking. This is only temporary until I get the other Stop Tech brake line in. So I need to put that wheel back on. I torqued the axle nuts down, and I need to go under there and fix the wiring for the reverse lights, because for some reason the wiring diagram that I compared it to is the opposite of this JDM transmission. So the neutral switch right now is connected to the brake lights, so I gotta swap it. So if you're doing this at home on a stock car and you're not using a JDM transmission, the wiring is how I said it is, but for this one the connector's backwards for some reason. I'm not sure if you can see in here, but the sensor that's closest to the front of the transmission, the furthest most sensor, should be the reverse light sensor. So I just got to make sure this white connector right here is connected to those two, the same two wires on the chassis harness I talked about before. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the white connector off on this side and then wire it to these two, which are connected way up there. It's just way too hard to get to the ones I connected to the chassis harness, so I don't really need this black connector anyway because that's for the neutral switch. So mine is completely backwards from the diagram I got online, so I'm just gonna cut this here and then wire it to these two and then probably leave this disconnected, and then I can just clip this together and it'll connect to the reverse light switch. Okay, so I just cut this connector off and I wired it to the two wires that are connecting to the harness, pins 9 and 10. So those are still the same. It's just for some reason the harness on my transmission was reversed from the wiring diagram. So the white connector is the reverse lights. That's the important thing. I should have traced the wires down originally and fixed that, but so this should work. Alright, so I got those connected, so I'm going to hook up the battery and see if it works. Okay, so I fixed it now. So if you're doing this on your own car, just connect the white one to pins 9 and 10 on the chassis harness, and it'll work. I just tested it and it actually does work. It's not on all the time. Alright, we got the front down, everything's torqued down. It's weird seeing it that low. Let's see if it'll start without being jumped. Fingers crossed. So it's gonna relearn its idle, so we gotta let it warm up. Try to let it idle for like 10 to 15 minutes. First test drive. Brakes are still kind of squishy, but we'll bleed them again later. And the clutch shatters. First shakedown went pretty good. It's burning a lot of shit off the exhaust, so we're gonna take this opportunity to wash it real fast. Alright, so we're gonna go for another little test drive, another shakedown. It's kind of taken on a few drives already. It seems really good, so let's see how it goes. So far the car is still kind of learning. It feels really strong. It's hesitated in a couple spots. I might have a small boost leak still, I'm not sure, but I mean, it feels great. car. It's only on 10 pounds right now, but with the 411 gear ratio, it feels really good. I'm having some issues with throttle response, but overall, it's definitely really good. I'm actually really happy with the suspension. It's just, I mean, there's stock springs with KYB struts that were on the car when I got it. I was pretty worried that I might rub over bumps and stuff, so I rolled the fenders. But since I replaced all the sway bar links and bushings also, the ride height's evened out, and there's no rubbing whatsoever, even with these 17-inch wheels. So, I mean, I'm super happy with it. I definitely still need to, take it into Forrest's work, and so we can bleed the brakes some more. But I mean, even the alignment, I haven't gotten an alignment yet, and it's really not too bad. The camber is all the way cambered out on the front, and the wheel's a little crooked, but it doesn't really pull at all. Like, I'm really surprised. I'm super happy with how it all just came together. But this is all on a stock ECU and a stock tune, so I mean, I've done a lot of modifications to this car, and it just goes to show you what you can do with just a stock tune. Because I mean, the stock tune in these cars is really good, actually. Like, I could push this turbo to probably 15 psi completely safely, without doing any injectors or a tune or anything. Which, I mean, if I go for a bigger turbo than this, I'd have to do a tune. So that is the eventual goal. Is once I do the new motor and everything, I probably get a bigger turbo, probably a TD05, and go for like 550cc injectors and a tune. Man, it feels so tight, like the chassis, and it just rotates like no problem, like whatsoever. And this ratio is really quick. Like first and second are super close together. And so like I've driven other 411 5-speeds, and this one is just, I mean, I guess it's because the STI one has different ratios, but it seems super quick and fun to drive. It's pretty awesome. But let's see how it does on the downhill. So far, it's pretty awesome. My brakes still are making some noise, because they're brand new, so they got to get broken in. I think a couple of the front backing plates are touching the rotors, so they're kind of making some noise. But everything just feels so tight. I mean, it's like night and day difference from before. Yeah, see, that throttle response hasn't quite learned itself yet. So that's gonna do it for the 5-speed conversion on this car. I want to thank everybody for watching, especially everybody who watched these all the way through. It's been quite the journey. If this is the first one you guys saw, go back and check out the other videos. I'm sure you'll see this car again, and more mod videos coming up. There's still a ton of stuff I want to do to it, but just wanted to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.